I have two children in Cumberland Hill Elementary School who would be moving if the redistricting proposal went forth. One of the things that we hear a lot about is in relation to the children who would be moving, that they'll be fine, that there'll be no problems with that. Most of those comments, I should say all the comments that I've heard, have come from parents whose children would not be moving. And so there are some things I think need to be kept in mind when considering this issue. First is that kids can't and often don't verbalize their concerns and issues and some of the difficulties in transitions and stressors like this in any kind of direct manner. And they often show these sorts of problems in more indirect and subtle ways. Also, some of the research bears some consideration in terms of transitioning. First, the 2009 Notre Dame study indicated that student achievement was negatively impacted in terms of the children who changed schools. That study also revealed that the children who remained behind and who didn't change schools, their student achievement was also negatively impacted when there was a turnover in the school population. Another study conducted at the Children's Hospital Medical Center of Cincinnati in 2003 indicated that children who change schools are more likely to exhibit behavioral problems. This result's been replicated in other research as well. And I think it does point to the fact that children do manifest some of the stressors in terms of transitions in less obvious ways. Another research indicated that kids are more likely to lag behind other children, kids who transition from one school to another in both reading and math. So these are just some findings that I think are worth considering and some concerns raised on our part. I know also that Cumberland Hill students have already gone through one transition. Each Cumberland Hill student went to kindergarten at community schools, so they've already undergone one change, one move in schools. A second major issue is sort of the context in which we're considering this change, and sort of two areas in which I see that as somewhat problematic. First, it's going really fast. There's been a lot of sort of different maps. The first map did not take into account the school choice students, the English as a second language students, and so on. Subsequent maps have, but I think that that's had the impact of where parents feel like this is a very quick, rapid, perhaps too quick change. And so that perhaps could be looked at a little bit more closely. I think the bigger issue, and my final point, is about the recent NECAP scores that came out, particularly in regard to the high school and mathematics proficiency. If my number is correct, 31% of Cumberland High School students, 10th graders, were able to be found proficient in mathematics. And I realize that within the context of Rhode Island, that's not that far outside the realm, but 31% to me is really concerning and a very low number. And to get that number higher will take a lot of effort on the part of many folks in this room and outside this room. To me, this is really a crisis that I would like to hear a lot more about how we're looking to solve this problem. To me, it's a problem not just for the 69% who are not proficient, but also for the 31% whose learning may also be impacted by that number. So I think for me, what would be most helpful is to know more about what the decision-making process has been in regard to that last issue, how the mathematics problem is going to be addressed, and also what other issues or what other possibilities have been considered in regard to how to implement full-day kindergarten. Clearly, there are a lot of positives for that. In terms of priorities for the district, I'm not sure that's a higher priority than increasing the math proficiency for our high school students immediately. But if this is deemed something we need to do, have other options been looked at in terms of not transitioning so many elementary school children into other schools? So those are my points, my questions, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.